at large in a lot of negotiations back and forth, and various variables have been used. Several committees have been set up. So I'm not too sure that there had been a conclusive determination as to what was due them. But yes, in these matters, a lot of it is done by the technical wing of the ministry and the Forestry Commission.
Okay, so in your statement, I see that in 2007, the agreement was to release 90 acres.
Well, I have to check.
So let me just read this part. It says, following several encroachment on the forest reserve, the pre-acquisition owners, the Owu family, in 2007, submitted a petition to the then President J. Kufuor for the release of the portion of the reserve. And after consultations between the Office of the President and the relevant bodies, it was recommended that a portion of the forest reserve be released to the Owu family. This culminated in an agreement dated 24th November 2008 between the government, acting by the then Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Minister of Lands, Forestry and Mines, and the Owu family for the grant of a lease of 90 acres of land to the Owu family for a term of 99 years. The lease agreement was, however, not executed as agreed.
Well, that's the point I'm making to you, that a lot of water has gone under the bridge when it comes to this matter. And there have been several disputations beginning from 2007. What are they entitled to? What are the variables that should go into their compensation? How many acreage are they entitled to? Where should it be, specifically in terms of location and so on and so forth? So, yes, it began in 2007. You are right that President Kufuor made an attempt, although inconclusive, and President Mills took it up and didn't conclude. President Mahama is the one who was able to bring some closure to this matter, and we seem to have taken the step which gives legal effect to what had been done over the years. So, what variables went into it, how the negotiations was done, and all of that, those are matters of public record, and those were normally done by officials of the Ministry and the Forestry Commission. And they were done scientifically based on the time-tested variables of computing compensation and what is due them and what they are entitled to. Yes, a lot of it I inherited though.
Yes, so
really,
the inherited one, because the EI makes reference to it. Your meeting with the press makes a reference to it. In 2013, the agreement was 118 acres. Why are we giving them 361 acres today?
In
2013, 118 acres. Why are we giving them 361 acres today?
Well, we can go into the report, and I'm sure there will be a very vivid and justifiable account or reason why that is so. We can do that. I don't have the whole file here with me.
You don't
but
have
it's
the
something
file
that
with
I've even called for, actually.
Come again?
I see something I've called for, because one or two people have drawn my attention to that, and I've called for the justification for it. There will be, because these things were not done overnight. These were thorough, long-standing negotiations and discussions with all kinds of variables. If you acquire somebody's land in 1927 and you are giving him land in lieu of compensation today, as you will agree with me, the value of land in 1927, if you do the extrapolation to 2022, but as minister, I don't pass judgment on this matter. There are technical people at the ministry who do these evaluations and who present reports and make recommendations, and we'll move forward with that.
Okay.
But we can always go into that.
Yes, talking about going into the report, did you at any point in time realize that what we're giving them today is more than what was agreed in 2013?
The work we did was over a long period of time, was over almost a year today. And as I say to you, whatever proposals are put on the table must be justifiable must be proposals that we can all live with. And so for me, what is important is that what has been released to them, what has been granted to them, is one that was arrived at and agreed to through due process. And the variables which were used are variables which is justifiable and which is reasonable and which is defensible. That's what it is. I mean, they ask the question. Hold on. Then you have to ask the question, why is it that in 2007 the land that was to be given was 90 acres, but in 2013 it was 180 something acres? Yeah. So it tells that the variables change.
Good.
The more the compensation delays, the more the equation changes. But as I say, we can get into these matters. Let me tell you, when it comes to compensation and those, as Minister for Land, it's part of my life on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. And there are formulas that are used. The Lands Commission has a formula. The Land Valuation Division has a formula. The Ministry itself adheres to a procedure. Forestry Commission, the same thing. So it's not something that is done capriciously. It's not done at the whims of the minister. Not at all.
Great. And so since you are in a position to get answers to a lot of questions, we're also asking those questions. You say, as Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, you deal with this on a daily basis. And you say the more the compensation delays, the more it becomes. Help us understand that. Are you saying that?
I said generally speaking.
Yes, but you said generally speaking.
Yeah.
So let's make it
the value
specific.
of land in 1927 is not the same as the value of land in 2020. That's right. I don't have to point that out.
So let's make it specific. In the case of the peripheries of the Achimota forest, which in 2007, a decision was taken to release 90, 2013, 118, and 2022, we're looking at 361. Are you saying, would I be right to say, as we delayed, they deserved more compensation?
My friend, if you indulge me, may I respectfully just ask your name, please?
Oh, Winston. This is Winston.
Winston, yes. My good friend Winston. Yes. Winston, you know what? If you want, just after your morning show, come over to the ministry. Let me put you in touch with a team of the team which worked on this. They will pull out the whole file, and then you go through with them line by line.
Okay.
I think that will serve us a lot of good. I truly appreciate your inquisitorial posture and wanting to ask the right questions and seek for the answers in respect of this matter. That is how it should be. We serve at the behest of the people, so we must be accountable to them. And whatever decisions we take must be decisions that should be in the national interest. So I appreciate your line of questioning. But I think you do yourself a lot of good as a journalist. I would do myself a lot of good as a minister if we came together and went through this matter. I think it will help. You get a fuller understanding.
Those lands that we're talking about, I mean, we'll come there, but just a bit of a clarification here. Those lands that we're talking about currently are not developed, right?
I think some are developed, I'm not sure. I'm not too sure. I think there will be some of it which will be atonement of tenancy. I'm not certain about the use mix. In other words, whether some are bare land, some are developed or whatever. Most important thing is that they get title. And in many cases, you may even have all of it developed, but what they really need is title so that the tenants or the people who have whatever interest in those lands will atone tenancy to them so they can also get some value. I've dealt with one or two of such situations where the whole place is totally developed, but the petitioners were more interested in becoming, if you want, title holders. So they become the landlords. Yeah.
Now, in the EI, we say that any development should be subject to the Physical and Spatial Planning Department. If part of it is maybe developed already, were they subject to this master plan? And what becomes of it?
Well, but that is really the whole principle of salvaging. Trying to salvage what is left of a situation. And I will imagine that given the ecological sensitivity of the Achimota forest, any existing infrastructure development in this peripheral area would have been sanctioned by previous authorities in a manner that will not compromise the Achimota forest. That said, moving forward, I wanted to be satisfied as minister that whatever land is given to the Owu family, its development is done under the strict supervision of the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. And by that, I mean any Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, not necessarily myself. And this is the reason why I insisted on paragraph 3 of EI 144. And I will say to you, my friend, it didn't come easy. It was born out of very strenuous negotiation. Because as you can imagine, these people who are going to be beneficiaries of these lands would rather that they develop it as they please. But I said no. We need a clause in there which will say that any development whatsoever on that land, as you will find in paragraph 3 of EI 144, must be with, in fact, not just even development, first of all, taking of possession, and secondly, any infrastructure development must be with the authorization of the minister. And the minister must be satisfied that that development will not compromise an adjoining forest reserve, which is a forest reserve affirmed by EI 154, which affirms the Achimota forest as a forest reserve. And I'll tell you, I'll give you one or two examples. If somebody were to get a lease from the Wu family, and the person, for instance, decided to build a factory adjoining to the Achimota forest, which will be a very noise-generating factory, you can imagine that the birds in Achimota forest will leave, will flee. And if somebody were to put up a mercury manufacturing factory adjoining to the Achimota forest, and the mercury was to leak into the Achimota forest, you can imagine that all the trees and all the ecological integrity of the forest will be compromised. So this is why these provisions were put in there. So that even whilst we're taking this step in releasing these lands to the Owu family, we were, in all modesty, responsible enough to put safeguards so that we can keep an eye on the development which may eventually take place. It may not be this year, it may not be next year, it may not be even 3-4 years, maybe 10 years from now. But whoever will be Minister for Lands and Natural Resources will be clothed with a legal authority to continue to protect the ecological integrity of the Achimota forest. So that is why paragraph 3 of EI 144 is firmly rooted in there. And it is in the public interest, in my view.
So it says the District Land Use and Spatial Planning Authority, with jurisdiction over the land specified in schedule, shall, within 3 months after the coming into force of this instrument, prepare for the approval of a minister a master plan for the development of the land specified in this schedule. So that's something you are yet to approve. So
that
you're
is
saying
so.
whatever the Owu family and whoever the Owu family subleases this land to, whatever they intend to do should be subject to your approval.
Absolutely. 110%.
But for those that have been done already, which has not been approved by you, what happens to them?
Well, this is why I say we have to really check the mix of use with respect to this land. But there again, I'm not too sure that they will be outside the catchment of this provision. If we do an audit and there's any infrastructure which will compromise the Achimota forest, I'm clear in my mind. I stand to be challenged. I'm clear in my mind that this paragraph 3 of EI 144, purposely interpreted, will give me the legal authority to be able to deal with a situation like that. The most important thing is to protect the forest and its integrity.
And while the most important thing is to protect the forest and its integrity, and also subject to approval of a minister, what if the minister feels that this should be done and another minister comes, goes contrary to what you may believe is the case? What happens?
I'm sure you will. I'm not too sure what will happen to him on Joy FM. But that's the whole thing about the governance architecture of our country. The laws and the institutional frameworks are the first thing to be put in place, which is what you have to structure properly. So, which is what we've done. If the law had been drafted in a way that did not give us these safeguard measures or checks and balances, any minister at all will simply not have the authority. But mercifully, that has been done, and the checks and balances has been put in place. If another minister comes and he exercises that discretion erroneously or irresponsibly or recklessly, I believe that, like it happened yesterday with the Brohaha, which generated this misconception that the Achimota forest is being sold, I believe civil society, media, and the other agencies of organs of our state should be able to bring a minister like that to check. And I'm not too sure that a minister for lands worth his salt should go about approving building permits or giving building permits for infrastructure development in a manner that will compromise a forest reserve. No such a minister of worth his salt should not do that. I certainly will not do that, and I believe my successors shouldn't do that. And if they did, there are enough checks in our democratic dispensation and architecture to bring such ministers to book.
Now, one of the concerns that a lot of people have is, and you may have seen Achimota Forest sold, is the belief that once part of it, is being given to the Owu family, persons close to power or politically exposed persons can acquire these lands.
Which land?
As in the lands that the
Owu family lands or the Achimota Forest?
The Owu family lands that has been released to them now.
Now that one they will deal in it as
hold on. For the Ghanaian public, they say the decision to release some 361 acres is because certain persons connected to power may want to acquire some of the land that has been released. As minister who is interested in the master plan and you've talked about our democracy having a way to deal with issues. Any plan to ensure that politically exposed persons are not beneficiaries of the sale of this land given to the Owu family?
Well, first of all, the time-tested principle of conflict of interest, the standard that public officials have to live up to, and not to allow themselves to be put in a position of conflict, should be upheld and should not be lowered. Again, all of us have responsibilities when it comes to this matter. The media does, civil society organizations do, and several other components of our body politic do have responsibilities. So we all have to be vigilant and be inquisitive so that does not happen. I have every belief that certainly I don't know. I shouldn't be speaking for myself, but I'm saying public officials who are involved in that kind of conduct. I don't mean public officials under this administration, across board, from the past and those who come in the future. We need to find ways of exposing people like that.
So you're leaving this to the politically exposed persons to do the right thing by not getting involved, right?
Well, first of all, my friend Winston, the Owu family, I can't as minister be telling them who they should sell their lands to. I certainly would not buy land from Owu family because that would be a clear case of conflict of interest. And I do expect that public officials who will put themselves in such a situation of conflict will advise themselves accordingly. And that is what I will say. I mean, but I can't legislate or put a law or put a fiat to say, oh, family, don't sell to any public official. If they were going to do that, they won't tell me. But the point I made is that we all have to be awake. And if there are any situations of conflict of interest in any form or shape, we expose it.
So how do you respond to those who say the EI should be reviewed and the acreage reduced?
Really? Let's hear the basis for that call. and then we can take it from there. Why not? If they have a justified and reasonable grounds for coming to that conclusion, we should be able to take a look at it. Why not?
All right. Since we'll be coming to the office to look at what went through, what decisions led to the 361, we'll leave it at this point. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I'll be looking forward to seeing you, my friend.
Sure. We'll be coming over after
All
the show.
right.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Samuel Abujinapo, who's Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, joining us here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. And that was Big Stories brought to us by Vodafone. Further Together, latest from your partner for life. So are you people still paying charges whenever you send money in 2022? Charlie, we're not doing that again. No? Transfer charges, dear. Switch to Vodafone Cash now, because sending money on Vodafone Cash to all networks is still absolutely free. Yes, you heard right. You can send any amount of money as many times as you want for free on Vodafone Cash. Only e-levy is applied. Charlie, don't give small money chance. Save more whenever you use Vodafone as the smartest move in these times. Now, that's true value for money. Switch to Vodafone Cash now. Dial *110# and send money without extra charges. Vodafone, further together. And if you're looking for a 1-seater, 2-seater, 3-seater, or L-shaped sofa crafted to the finest details and available in various colors for your homes, office, or hotel, if you're looking for comfort, durability, quality, and that perfect finishing, look no further, because Latest Foam is your one-stop shop, whatever your choice or budget. Now, the attention of management of Latest Foam has been drawn to the fraudulent activities of some persons who dupe unsuspecting members of the public via social media. Latest Foam wishes to state clearly it does not do trading on social media, and whoever transacts business on Latest Foam products on such platforms does so at his or her own risk. The management therefore wishes to alert the public to such activities and advise them against payment for its products via social media. It further advises the public to visit the showrooms of Latest Foam and accredited dealers across the country for its high quality products. Latest Foam is your partner for life. But I'm sure you're ready to wake up the champion in your child today. Well, don't just wake up your child, help wake up the champion in your child with energy from Milo with Active Go and other foods. Your child needs all the help they can get as they go through their daily activities. Milo with Active Go contains the natural goodness of malt, milk, and cocoa, and is a source of vitamins B2, B3, B6, B12, C and D, and minerals, iron, calcium, phosphorus. Energize them with a nourishing cup of Milo every day. Milo, energy to go further. Stay with us. When we return after these messages, we'll tell you more about the Achimota Forest Reserve and the EI 144 and EI 154. And of course, we get to hear from you also. You've heard from the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. Are your questions answered? Are you convinced now? Why don't you join us on Twitter? Use the hashtag JoySMS.
Super Morning Show.
What would you do if you have the choice to do anything in life? Build your dream house, take very good care of your family, and plan for a comfortable retirement. Plan a befitting funeral for your loved ones when they depart. How would you live if you knew there was a friend waiting to support you on all of your life's choices?
You have such a friend in Glyco Life Insurance. Glyco Life has all the plans to meet your life's needs: your child's education, your life savings, your mortgage, funerals, redundancy, and your retirement, and takes the burden off your shoulders. So go ahead and live life to the fullest today with Glyco Life Insurance plans. And remember that all our policies are hedged against inflation. Talk to Glyco Life on 0302 218 500 or 246 142. Also visit our website at www.glycolife.com or any of our branches nationwide for more information.
Glycolife, we cushion you for life.
Glyco, we cushion you for life.
The feeling of being the champion of the famous childhood game, Pilolo, is like knowing a secret that no one knows and using it to your advantage. That is the feeling of being on Ghana's favorite network and getting your money's worth. With Airtel Tigo, you can get exciting tailor-made products and services that work for you. Dial *111#. Select option 1 for big-time data to enjoy data that doesn't expire, and option 4 for Sika Koko to enjoy huge data at little cost.
Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
Wow! I just paid my taxes right now. Since they started this pay from anywhere, it has become easier, cra.
Easy, cra. Now nobody has an excuse. So long journey, no ye jai. Tax, why? Effie, don't tell me you have not been paying taxes, oh.
No, I'm tired of paying. Don't be. It's the taxes we pay that government will use to improve the market and to build the nation, oh.
I don't know. It just takes your whole day. Hey, you mean you have been going to the GRA office?
Effie, unye current cra. Come and join us. So I'm not paying taxes, no. Cra.
Pay your taxes online, at the bank, or from your phone. Together, we can build a great nation. GRA.
Say Lonat, 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 Lonat. Hey, Lonat, 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 Lonat. Lonat, Lonat. Yen Concota, Lonat, Lonat, Lonat. Malaria, Suron, Lonat. Everybody follow not sa malaria. A 3D till Lonat now. Wonto malaria too. Popo. What mean the day? I want the Lonat. Lonat. Adabako. Num Lonat. Adamienu. Num Lonat. Adamiensa. Num Lonat. No. Lonat scatter malaria. Lonat ide scatter malaria.
A quality product from Blaze GVS Pharma. Yenshishemu hu se malaria wa wumojam ansana wanum Lonat. Na nam yensearch na malaria no daso wo ho a ko hu dokota.
This advert is FDA approved.
From now till August 2022, Latina Travel and Tours is giving you the opportunity to make this summer the most memorable time for you and your family. Walk into any UMB branch or call Latina Travel and Tours to find out how you too can present your family with an unforgettable experience at Disneyland Paris. It's open to everyone looking to have an amazing experience this summer. It's $3,600 for adults and $2,990 for children. 8% off early bird discount available. It includes flight, 8-day stay in Paris, a boat trip on the Seine River, visit to the Eiffel Tower, Champs-Elysees, the monuments, and many more. Visit the nearest UMB branch or call Latina Travel and Tours on
050-565-7821
or ask Sika, the UMB virtual assistant, WhatsApp at 0266 020 400 or at www.myumb Bank for more information today.
My neighbor, when match they catch pet, you go here say they shout.
My husband no get one single romantic bone for him body, yet he always they hug the cushions and things. Oh, you go here be.
Kojo dear, he go fight you anytime you wake him up for school, but he comes Saturday morning. Hey, all you go here be.
It's mission time.
You too for live your stories with correct football, correct local drama, then magical kiddie entertainment with only 50 Ghana cedis a month. DSTV, it's your moment.
It's the most action-packed breakfast show in town. The hottest music, the best giveaways, the great interviews, and all the laughter and fun you can imagine. Don't miss the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. It's the best breakfast show in town. Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
All right, so welcome back. This is the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. Earlier you had the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abu-Jinapo, explaining the decisions that led to the release of some 361 acres of land of the Achimota Forest Reserve to the Owu family. Raymond has been listening. You just summarize it for us briefly. Yes, Raymond, what's the minister been saying?
So the minister told us what the statement had said, that indeed there was a request by the family and they complied with this particular request to release the lands to them. The main disputed issues, one, was why did we move it from the 90 that was granted in 2007 or so under John Kufuor to somewhere 2013 or so, not to now going to about 300 acres. The minister says he could not tell us why we did that. He said there is a copious document detailing the reasons for it. First, he said, mostly when lands compensation takes a long time. This is since 1920s, so it's been a long time. Then the question again was, so do you know the specific reasons why we did this change from the acreage given to the family to the bigger one now? He says for this particular one, he can only reference the document if it's available, and that we should sit in the car, come to his office. He will show us the content of that particular document, which gives reasons for that. The second disputed issue is also to do with why is the ministry taking an eco-friendly zone and basically making it possible for any kind of development to happen in the area without any safeguards at all. He said, yeah, we put in safeguards. We put in a land use reference to the district assemblies for them to check what will be done. Then me as minister, I will approve of what the people will do there. Then the question was further asked, beyond the minister approving or agreeing to what will happen there, how about if there's a change of mind by any different minister? What are, again, the safeguards? The minister's response is that no minister or no member of this government. Okay, so there's also another third question asked about the people really think that this is an attempt to land grab. People really feel that this is all part of an attempt to share the land in Accra. And that's a crafty way of doing this. His response is that we have safeguards in our laws on conflict of interest. Even though he cannot force the old family to sell or not sell land to anybody in this country, he would know, he himself will not buy the land. He, as Samuel Abuchinapo, he will not buy the land. He's hoping that other ministers will also not buy the land because it will be conflict of interest. And conflict of interest is a very serious offense in this republic. So those are the, in summary, have I summarized it properly?
You have. Thank you very much, Raymond. I'll come for a bit of thoughts on it later on. But the National Investment Bank will, from Monday the 23rd of May 2022 to Wednesday the 25th of May 2022, host the 2022 Annual Workshop and Ordinary General Assembly of the Association of African Development Finance Institutions at the Labadi Beach Hotel in Accra. Now, the 3-day event will draw CEOs and experts in development finance across Africa and beyond to dialogue on financing solutions to drive Africa's development theme, unlocking innovative resources for development finance agenda for African development finance institutions. Guest of honor, Deputy Finance Minister Dr. John Kuma. Speakers, Samuel Sapo, Managing Director, NIB, Thabo Thamani, who's chairman of AADFI and CEO of Citizen Entrepreneurial Development Agency, Cyril Okoye, General Secretary of AADFI, Rude Brower, who is Chief Executive Officer of TCX Fan, and Mr. Ashad Rab, Chairman, International Council of Sustainability Standards, Germany, and CEO, European Organization for Sustainable Development. Ms. Kapeta Sayizonga, who is Chief Executive of the Development Bank of Rwanda, and Mrs. Patricia Ojangoli, First Vice Chairperson, AADFI, and MD, Uganda Development Bank, Uganda. Stefan Naletambi, who is Director, Financial Sector Development Department, African Development Bank, and Mr. Olukayode Pitan, who is Managing Director, CEO of Bank of Industry Nigeria, and Solomon Queno, Vice President, Private Sector Infrastructure and Industrialization of AFDB. NIB, your business is our business. Now, the National Petroleum Authority wants you to know that when you smell gas, open doors and windows to get rid of the gas. Check to see if the gas has been left on. If not, there's probably a gas leakage. So turn off the regulator and call technicians to service your stove. If it is safe to do so, try to locate the source of leak by applying a solution of soapy water to the base of your cylinder valve or along the flexible hose. If bubbles appear and become bigger or increase in number, then there's a leak. Knowing where the leak is helps to prevent accidents. And there's a message from the National Petroleum Authority. So if money wasn't a factor, how would you like to run your business? Picture it now and start being efficient with a total business solutions provider that makes business so simple with a wide range of services, such as a dedicated internet, mobile services, data co-location, among others. Whichever business you run, whatever solution your business needs, Airtel Tigo Business will provide tailor-made solutions just for your business. So what are you waiting for? Call us now on 0577 555 000. Send an email to business@airteltigo.com.gh for flexible total solutions for your business. Airtel Tigo Business, making business simple.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Now, having your baby try out different tastes and flavors isn't just about giving them a change of taste. This helps to develop their palate and prepare them better for accepting varieties of adult food as they grow. So go ahead and try any of our 6 Cerelac variants. That's wheat, maize, rice, biscuity, fruit pieces, and millet. Remember, each bowl of Cerelac contains goodness that helps your child's normal growth and development. Cerelac, it's all good, ma'am.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
Right, now this is the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. When we return after these messages, we'll be speaking to the Member of Parliament for Tamale North and Deputy Ranking Member of the Lands and Natural Resources Committee in Parliament, the Honourable Al-Hassan Suhini. That'll be after these messages.
Kofi Osopepra Ministries presents Kofi Osopepra live in concert, a night of great music, worship, and launch of the Father's Gift album. Guests include Neela, Ife Grace, Luigi McLean, and the legendary Mrs. Amy Newman. Date Sunday 22nd May, 4 p.m. at the National Theatre. Standard tickets 60 Ghana cedis and 150 Ghana cedis. For VIP. For tickets, dial star 725 star 7000 hash. Also contact our ticket hotline 0271 425 445. Sponsors: Woodin Total Family Health Organization, DSTV Ghana, I Pay Ghana, Joy FM, Lucozade, Fan Milk, Ocean Spray and Vitrac, Meridian Natural Mineral Water, Always Sanitary Pad, Sumo Vision, Vena Natural Mineral Water, Ines Fly and Series. Get your Woodin fabric from their shops and win a ticket. Media Partners Multimedia Group. Every time is worship time.
Describe the God you are.
Nana Kwame,
Yeah.
come and visit me.
Hey, Akosia, that's your house. I don't want to come there again. No. Grandma be what?
And that's for that my Fiera. Hey. Oh, the man with grey hair who like the nice young ones. Oh, you to come and let's do some salad.
Okay. I will bring some kelewele so we can chop once we enjoy our eyes.
Tilfiasem, enjoy real local drama on the new channel Aquaba Magic Ebusia on Go TV. This is your new home of local content and more. Chawiniso, Go TV, love it.
When the world looks at my child, they just see an energetic 8-year-old. But I see more. My Lucy is going to become captain of her school volleyball team, keep excelling in class, and do great things one day. I see a champion. So when I give her Milo with her breakfast every day, it's all part of waking up the champion in her.
Don't just wake up your child, wake up the champion in her. Let Milo with Active Go and the natural goodness of malt, milk, and cocoa help wake up the champion in your child every day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo. This advert is FDA approved.
It's the most action-packed breakfast show in town. The hottest music, the best giveaways, the great interviews, and all the laughter and fun you can imagine. Don't miss the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. It's the best breakfast show in town.
Right, so welcome back and thank you very much for staying with us. Very soon we'll be speaking to the Member of Parliament for Tamale North and Deputy Ranking Member of the Lands and Forestry Committee in Parliament on the Achimota Forest Reserve release. He has some thoughts he wants to share with us. But look, if you're thinking that life insurance is only for the rich, then Charlie, think again. Because the Alliance Sementia plan is a life insurance plan that fits the pocket of the everyday Ghanaian. Premiums start from as low as 4 cedis per month, and you have the added option of a daily, weekly, or monthly social contribution. So what are you waiting for? Cover yourself and your loved ones today with the Alliance Sementia plan. For more information, call us on 0308 249 090 or visit our website, alliance-gh.com. Follow Alliance Live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, on Alliance Ghana, and on Instagram at Alliance_GH. Alliance, we secure your future. Right, so we've been joined on the line by Member of Parliament for Tamale North and Deputy Ranking Member of the Lands and Forestry Committee in Parliament, Honourable Al-Hassan Suhini. Good morning, Honourable Suhini, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, Winston. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Let me say good morning to our listeners as well.
Great. So you've heard from the Lands and Natural Resources Minister. What are your concerns with a decision to release some 361 acres of the Achimota Forest Reserve to the Owu family?
Well, first of all, Winston, let me commend you for your fantastic line of questioning when you engage the minister. But Honorable Abu is a nice person, very smooth in his dealings. But I don't think that it was lost on anyone after listening to him that if this decision was not a deliberate scheme to loot the Achimota forest land, then it was not well thought through. Because, Winston, first of all the mere expectations of good conduct the minister expects of public officers and developers who may have the opportunity to acquire land in the declassified area, which, by the way, is in short supply in our society, was catered for in earlier decisions that preserved the forest as a forest reserve. Once you declassify it, then you give an indication, and also knowing very well how lax, our local government bylaws and systems are, you give an indication that you are encouraging free for all kind of development. And you see, Winston, the minister even admits in the statement that he issued yesterday that earlier developments or earlier engagement sought to release portions or parcels of the land to the Owo family. Mm-hmm. And then he says that after the leases and sub-leases were granted to the family was unable to develop the portions that were released to them. Listen, this tells you that perhaps they were unable to use the leases and sub-leases they had because their intended development plan is not eco-compatible. Otherwise, if it was eco-compatible, they should be able to develop the land, given government policy of developing the forest reserve into an eco-park. So when you issue this EI 144, what you are saying is that the limitation that they had, even though they had sub-leases and leases to the land, the limitation has been taken off. And so they can now engage in free, development, all kinds of development. Concrete jungle can now spring up there.
The EI says that development should be subject to, approval, starting off with the Lands and Special Planning Unit, and then also approved by the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. So isn't that enough, buffers to make sure that not any kind of development is done on the land?
So, listen, the minister again is a lawyer. And he knows the popular maxim that you cannot put something on nothing. Mm-hmm. And I have also spoken, and we all know it to be true, about the lax systems that we have, either at the Lands Commission or at the local assembly level, when it comes to enforcing some of these laws. And the minister himself is counting on his goodwill and his determination to do right and to avoid a conflict of interest situation as a person. He is unable to even answer for future ministers. So why remove something which was the policy of preserving the forest as a reserve? Because once it is a reserve, it excludes all kinds of development. So you don't even have any way or anywhere to go for approval to carry out a development that is not eco-compatible. So why remove that, caveat, that protection? Because if it is a reserve, it is protected as such.
Yes, but that caveat applies to 361 acres.
Again, listen, when you listen to the minister, he's unable to even answer the question of why. First of all, you have to declassify 360, plus acres. And then he tries to link it to earlier decisions that declassified, that didn't declassify.
It didn't declassify, but handed over about 90 acres to the Owo family.
Yeah.
The question is, first of all, how did it move from 90 to now 350? What kind of calculation took place, and what is the compelling reason for the increment? Then secondly, why declassify it? Because previous decisions did not declassify it.
I mean, are they not learning lessons from previous decisions where a lack of declassification made it difficult for the family to develop that land, hence a decision to declassify and monitor its development?
So the decision not to declassify, which if it hampered development, points to a suggestion that the intended development will not be eco-compatible.
Well, my checks at the Lands Commission, my sources tell me that attempts to register was very difficult because Lands Commission still at the time saw it as part of the Achimota Forest Reserve. And so you could not even register it as a property of a family, let alone sublease it to others. And so this decision is to then enable the family to sublease it and register it as its property.
Yes, but if you look at Cap 157, it does not prohibit the ownership of land in a forest reserve. Cap 157 does not prohibit the ownership of land in a forest reserve. It only outlines how such a land is managed, either on behalf of the family or the owner by the Forestry Commission.
Mm-hmm.
And so it remains the ownership, it remains the property of the Owo family. That is the 90 acres or thereabout that was released by previous government. But because the intention was to preserve the integrity of the forest, it was not declassified so that development on that land will be managed by the Forestry Commission on behalf of the Owo family. And so such development needed to be eco-compatible. But when you declassify it, you give a license to the owners to now determine what kind of development they want to put there, despite the assurance that the Special Development Unit of Lands Commission and the assemblies will draw a program or a plan. And we all know these things don't work. Our systems are not that, proof. They are not that effective, unfortunately. But what we have that has served us in the past and now is that when it is a reserve, there is a guarantee that the development that will take place there will not affect the integrity of the forest.
So what would you prefer to be done at this point? Now, EI 144, EI 154, what's your proposal?
We, the minority, believe that it was not well thought through. If indeed the intention is not deliberate to loot the, Achimota forest land, then it was not well thought through. And so the president must take a second look at the EI 144 and possibly revoke it as soon as possible. We also believe that the increase from about 90 acres to 360 plus acres is untenable. And we ought to engage to understand what went into that increase of the acre of land, the acreage of land that has been given to the Owo family. And we insist that the Achimota forest must remain a forest reserve. We do not have that many in this country, about 265. That is if you take the Achimota forest out. And we already know the problems, the troubles that we are going through as a country to preserve that forest. And let us not forget, Winston, that it is the only green belt that we have in Greater Accra today, serving as a carbon sink. that absorbs all the carbon dioxide that we generate in Accra. So it is risky for a government to, engage in what they are seeking to engage in. That will lead to encroachment in that area and a possible, if you like, not for long, we may not have the Achimota forest again, serving as the carbon sink that it has served the city all these years.
Okay.
And so we think that the president must immediately take a second look at the EI 144, possibly revoke it as soon as possible, so that the Achimota forest will remain the forest reserve that it has been all these years. And you see, the danger maybe finally is also that when you engage in some of these things and you do not think through it properly, you give the indication to other reserves in the country. There are reserves in the country that are on lands that are owned by landowners. And interestingly, the Achimota forest is the only forest that was acquired by government, for which, or part of which, compensation was paid for. No other forest reserve was acquired by government. So if other communities begin to demand that parts or all of the forest reserve in their area be given to them for other use, what will we be left with as a country? What will we be left with?
Okay. Honorable Suhini, thank you very much for joining us. We're grateful. Now, that's Member of Parliament for Tamale North. He's also the Deputy Ranking Member of the Lands and Forestry Committee in Parliament, calling for the revocation of EI 144. We'll be hearing from you shortly, but let me just get Raymond's thoughts in general on what Samuel Abu-Jinapor has said and also what Al-Hassan Suhini has said. Raymond.
I'm more concerned about what the minister has said because of the inability to provide some justification for this. I cannot fathom why that should even be the case in the first place, because this minister has been speaking to this matter since yesterday. And I'm worried because it appears to be a trend. Now, if you recall our conversation around the APRC support fund, here, when the minister was asked about the 5 million, it was a similar trend. Oh, I'll find the information for you on what exactly is going to be used for and all of that, and why we had to determine and decide that 5 million was just the right amount. He left that vacuum, that vacuum that up till now has not been filled. I think later on, the Office of the President even indicated that the money was going to the APRC support fund and the community rebuilding exercise. Fast forward to this particular one. It would occur to anybody at all that the most important issues are the ones that were raised here. One, why have we increased it from 90 to over 300 acres for the family? What are the reasons for the increase? The minister cannot be telling us that after the general review and all the other thing happening, and after issuing an EI for which he has done a subsequent press conference on, he will not know these reasons. But he said he will give us a full dossier on those reasons, not even a summary of that. That leaves another vacuum that people will then fill in with their own thoughts about why they think this has happened. Then secondly, there's a question about why declassify when the intent of not declassifying is to keep it in that particular state and to make it remain what's supposed to be a forest reserve. Then again, the minister's answer is a bit unsatisfactory and leaves more questions than answers. There's also another very germane point about how do we ensure that not any form of development, as he even mentioned himself, happens there, and that the sanctity of the forest or the things we want to do with it is preserved. Again, the minister's answer is almost like leaving it to the general goodness of people and how Joy FM and others can hold people to account. It appears to me all this put together, unless there is some other justification that we have not been told of or some other information that's just to be released, there's more to this than what we are being told. It appears there's a lot more hidden than exposed or given us in this conversation with the substantive minister When I've just said here earlier that I'm excited he came out to set the record straight. But setting the record straight cannot be the end in itself. It's letting the people be informed about what's really happening. Not perpetuating some form of a ruse that appears that this is what we are doing. But at the end of the day, something else gets to happen. So that's the problem. On one hand, it suggests that if we do not have the intent to do wrong with this land, then we have just conceived of a poorly done process to just transfer the lands to the people we are paying compensation to. And it leaves so many other thoughts and ideas in the minds of people, which I truly believe the minister could have clarified and set the record straight with the opportunity missed this morning. Perhaps another opportunity, as he has actually elucidated, will bring to bear the fuller issues on board. But I am partly satisfied leaving the conversation this morning.
All right. We'll give you a chance to tell us what your thoughts are shortly. We'll be sharing a lot of your tweets also. But text message on this morning show brought to us by Glyco-Critical Illness Plan, GSIP. It's in your best interest to survive. And at Glyco Life, we believe this is the time to protect your future with our life insurance policies. Our products are designed to offer you peace of mind, especially in this COVID-19 era. So to our policyholders, your claims are very important to us, and we advise you to visit our offices or the Glyco Life website, glycolife.com, to lodge your claims for prompt service. We're surviving COVID-19 together, so please pay your premium via Momo on 0591441473 or by e-premium for microinsurance to safeguard your policies. Our call center team is ready to support you, so call us on 0202 222 113 for assistance or contact us via our digital channels. Please practice social distancing, keep safe, and trust Glyco Life to cushion you for life. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Coffee in your cup and Joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
The last two.
Coffee in your cup and Joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
All right, so welcome back. And very soon we'll be activating the phone lines. In fact, we've activated the phone lines. We want to hear from you on 0302 216 541 and 05511119997. But the Benchi Enchil Lecture and Ankoma presents the inaugural Kojo Benchi Enchil Memorial Lecture under the theme, the evolution of the regulation of commerce in Ghana. It is on Thursday, the 26th of May, 2022, time 8 a.m. prompt at the Kempiski Hotel. The speaker for the lecture is retired Justice of the Supreme Court, Professor Samuel Databan, who speaks on the topic, fashioning a regulatory regime for distressed companies. Physical presence is strictly by invitation. However, the general public can join live on Facebook and Zoom. Now, the Zoom meeting ID is 817-8460-9164 with a password 214368. And you can join live on Facebook on the Benchi Enchil Lecture and Ankoma Facebook page. But you know what? Kingdom Books and Stationery says you don't have to walk into any of their stores just to shop. All you can do is to log on to kingdomstoreonline.com and they will arrange delivery to your homes and offices within a reasonable time. And they offer free delivery within Accra and time and accept payment via Momo across all networks. Terms and conditions apply at Kingdom. Quality and affordability is their hallmark. And the West Africa Securities Regulators Association, in collaboration with the Securities and Exchange Commission of Ghana, brings you the second biennial capital Market Conference in Accra, Ghana. And it's on the 24th of May 2022 at the Movenpick Ambassador Hotel. Theme: deepening and strengthening the capital markets across West Africa through effective regulation. The keynote speaker is Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And special guest of honor, Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, who is Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, with other speakers across the globe. For registration and participation, visit wacmac21.sec.gov.gh. You can also call 0800 1065 or email wacmac21@sec.gov.gh. So the phone lines are activated. Now let's get onto the phone lines and find out. You've listened to, the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. You've also heard from, the Member of Parliament for Tamale North, Al-Hassan Suhini. What are your thoughts? Gideon from Achimota, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Weston.
Yes, Gideon.
Yeah, I just want to share my opinion.
Please go ahead.
I think the government of the day is trying to run a charity work because somebody owns about 90 acres and then you are trying to increase it for the person. Ghana.
All right. Thank you very much, Gideon from Achimota. Ben from Kumasi. Ben, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes,
Wilson.
Share your thoughts with us.
Yeah, okay. Listen, I think I want to comment on the Achimota forest declassification.
Please go ahead.
Yes, and please, I'm sure that a lot of Ghanaians do not agree with the president doing that because in this era of global warming, where the tidal waves of Peter is a clear example of the effects of global warming. The whole world is even moving towards this greenhouse approach of things and even, renewable energy. So I'm shocked that the little forest that we have in Accra is so hot. I believe if scientists are to do a research, Accra is emitting a lot of carbon dioxide. The place is choked. So with the little forest in Achimota, just to absorb some of the carbon dioxide, just to help humans to live, we want to classify it and then develop the place. I mean, it's sad. I wonder what our scientists are doing about this. Because this is suicidal. Because Keta tidal waves should even prompt us that we should even be moving towards renewable energies. The little forest we have left it for Galamsey to destroy it. We have left it for these illegal chainsaw operators to cut down all the trees in our forest. Accra also forest kakra na ebe bo enkofo ho ban no so and also you per se told it. Why are we like this?
All right.
What can citizens do about it? Please. What can citizens do about it? That's my main point. Okay. Can we do anything about it? Can we do a demonstration? Is there any law in the constitution that can prevent the president from doing this as said by citizens?
Okay.
Please.
I'll tell you more about that. Thank you very much. Right now, the evidence doesn't suggest that Omar Tonwedi, that they've sold it. They say they've released it to the family that handed it over to government in 1927. Let's get to Papa Bisiu from Taifa. Papa Bisiu, good morning.
My brother, good morning. It's been a while.
Yes, it's been a while. Hope you're fine.
By the grace of God, may God protect all of you.
Amen.
Listen, you know something. The forest, Achimota forest, should just remain as it is. You realize that the penchant for maybe majority of suffering Ghanaians is to acquire their own land. Therefore, the lot of what they call it, places that they've turned into houses and things like that. So this particular one, let it remain so that it will balance the ecosystem. Now, you realize I'm noticing something, but maybe you haven't. You realize this government has brought in some people that are going around taking land from people they said they are in charge of land grabbing for government misuse land or whatever it is. It happened at a place led by Jandu. I've forgotten the area, but the latest one was at Pokatamanso. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And what I'm trying to put across is it seems as if the MPP government, they are only interested in grabbing lands. It happened under Kufuor's regime when Ghana Telecom, they sold Ghana Telecom. The lands of Ghana Telecoms were rushed by these MPP people. Same as what they call it, Ghana Airways too. Lands of Ghana Airways properties rushed by this very government. When they sold Ghana Airways, they turned it to what they call it, Ghana International Airline. They should stop these thing activities. It's very bad. They are spoiling their what do you call it? The name of their.
Thank you very much, Papa BC, for joining us. Claude from Tema. Good morning, Claude.
Yeah, good morning, Winston.
Yes, Claude.
Yes, I think there's a need for us to protect the environment. And there should be a reason why the government is declassifying the place and releasing the land back to the family. If it is maybe earlier on they were not compensated very well and want to preserve the forest, then government looks at compensating them, maybe looking at the renegotiation, compensate them and maintain the forest. If you come to Tema, when Tema was developed, trees were planted all over the place because of the industry to absorb the carbon dioxide. But almost all the big trees, day in, day out, are being cut. Achimota forest is one forest, but there have been plans over the years where the environment was protected. And Tema is one classical area. Most of the trees that were planted during Nkrumah's time are being cut down. And I think we need to look at it. Maybe let's compensate them again and reserve the land as the original purpose is supposed to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us, Claude from Tema. Let's get to Adenta where Ben is. Ben, good morning. Oh, we've lost. Have we lost Ben? Hello, Ben. Oh, okay, we've lost Ben. Ben, please try and get in touch with us again. You can also do same on 0302-216-541 or 055-1111-997. This morning, you've heard from the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abujinapo. You've heard from Honorable Hassan Suhuni as well. What are your thoughts? Anyway, let's get into your tweets. And many of you have been joining us, sharing your tweets with us. Kweku Rafiki says, why isn't government considering compensating the Owu family instead of giving out such a strategic asset? @1_Fitzu says, the family asked for 90 acres, so why 361 acres, almost 40% of the forest? And at KD_Ni says, what the minister said, yeah, vibes. So let's get to Shem from Pram Pram. Shem, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Shem. Share your thoughts with us.
Johnny, we've gotten to a place where listening to the radio now cuts deep. I don't know how the elderly people in Ghana survived listening to some of these bad lives. Some of us, the youth, it keeps us this, I don't know, there's this passion to just, I don't even know what to use. Charlie, every time you listen to radio, you hear something in this heartening. Charlie, so we have people thinking in government, in the government. Like you want more in our government. All jokes aside, I don't mean to insult anybody, but are they really thinking? How do you go into a forest reserve and then tell us that you rather classify it and then that will rather make the family that it belongs to them rather be at peace? Why won't you go and look for some of the money you've been stealing already and then pay them out? Why won't you do that? You've clearly been handling the land for 1920 or some years, the man mentioned. So if they had access to 90 acres or so, for this short span from 2008 to 2022, they need to be compensated more than the 90 acres. It doesn't make sense. And every time they open their mouth to try and justify something, you clearly displays their folly. Look at a chapel like this. We are not talking about that, but look at that. Look at Ifas at the land park. We've not gotten there yet, but I'm sure that land has also been sold. Why, Charlie? Listen, Charlie, we are getting to a place where some of us. Thank you very much.
Let's end it there, Shem. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's get to Ashaiman. Kwame, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Mr. Moa, how are you?
I'm fine, Kwame. How about you?
Yeah, well, by His grace, I'm doing well. Mr. Moa, you know, when you ask the minister a question about why the land has moved from 90 to over 300, he was trying to justify by saying that the valuation, the land valuation some years ago is not like today. But Someone, you said something. You said the previous administration, that's the Mahama administration, when they also approved of it, it was then that was the land to be was 90. But the Ogu family was finding it difficult to register the land at land department because of the classification of the forest. Now, okay, so if this government has fine, okay, let's continue what has been started by Kufuor regime. So that let's declassify the land so that they can register it. Why increase the land? It's not up to the Ogu family to increase the value of the land when they are going to sublet it. Why should we, Ghana, increase the acreage from 90 to over 300? So there is something there. When you go to the ministry, please try to fish out why. Okay. Because under every circumstances, it's only the land which you appreciate. But it's to appreciate in value, not in volume. So why increment in volume? Please find out for us. Thank you.
We'll find out all these things for you. Thank you very much, Kwame. Ben from Adenta has joined us again. Ben, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. And by the kind courtesy of God, I'm back to talk.
Sure.
Because my views ought to be heard. I'm very critical. The minister, whatever he was saying, didn't add up. It didn't add up at all. And I was expecting further proof. And I was surprised Al-Hassan was telling you that you really did very well with your questions. I mean, inviting you to the ministry, I just hope that you guys will not be compromised, because that's what politicians typically do to journalists, and that you come tomorrow and give us the full details of the documents. He must hand it over to you, or do photocopies for you, or you use the right to information law to get all the documents. Talking about Achimota forests, I mean, common sense in today's day where climate change issues are very ripe. You preserve your forests. London, go there. New York, everywhere else in this world where commonsensical people are in charge of the economy. What happens? You see the forests are still there, though they are super expensive. But when you have people who have parochial interests in the land, he's telling you that the minister has the right to decide on this, another minister comes, thinks otherwise, and that he the minister, is not going to buy the land, and that if another minister buys the land, that's conflict of interest. How many times haven't we seen conflict of interest? Go to airports, international student hostel, where the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is right now. It was shared among the ministers during Kufuor's time, government land. So it tells you 90 acres, now increase to 300 and something. They have interest in it. I mean, you don't need any prophet or any rocket scientist to tell you how corrupt these people are. You simply give the family money, right? But even since 1920, their forefathers saw the wisdom to hand the land to government, because they think that we need forests in Accra. So why do you now say today, 2022, when we even need a forest the most, you are giving it out, not even 90, which I will even dispute. The 90 should not even be given. You are giving over 300 acres of land in a forest reserve. Please, this stupidity ought to stop.
Hold on, Ben. No. Let's not get into that. No, Ben. Let's not get into that. But just a bit of a comment. Ben, nobody will be compromised. Okay? Just note that. We're here to actually be your voice. And so we are not going to be compromised. We will get there, ask all the questions, and tomorrow we would brief you. Okay? Yes, and so that's it. There's still more questions, I know. The minister was going into a meeting, and so we had to speak to him. So please be patient. Be assured that we're going to ask all those questions on your behalf. That'll be our final caller. We can't ask any more questions, but the University of Professional Studies Accra, UPSA, in partnership with the Academy of African Business Development, is hosting the 22nd AABD conference themed Sustainable Development Beyond Aid, the Focus for Africa, from the 18th to the 21st of May 2022 at the UPSA Kofi Ohene Kunedi Auditorium. Now, this 5-day conference brings delegates from all over the world to discuss, analyze, and advance solutions to the challenges facing the development of African businesses. Special guest of honor, President Nana Akufo-Addo, and other speakers include Pierre Laporte, who is country director for the World Bank, Ghana, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. The general public is cordially invited. But before we go, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday from Abdullah and the children to the wonderful woman in their lives, Mrs. Sarah Awudu. So, Sarah Awudu, It's your birthday today, and so from your husband, Abdullah Awudu, and the children to you, they say you are a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful woman. And from all of us here at the Multimedia Group, we say happy birthday to you. But of course, it's also the birthday of Richardson Doe's General Manager Technology at the Multimedia Group. So from all of us here at the Multimedia Group, we say happy, happy birthday to you, Richardson Doe. And that'll be all from us here on the Super Morning Show. On behalf of the team, led by Sami Odami, thank you very much for staying with us. My name is Winston Amwa. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Coffee in your cup and Joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.